Hey there, welcome to the Charlie Angus, Robbie Burns, Ceilidh. Often we do it at the house. Big crowds come. Sometimes the full pipe band shows up. I do my annual charity fundraiser for Ceilidh in Ottawa, but because of COVID, we can't do it this year. So I thought I would just sing you a few Scottish songs. These are songs that our family used to sing all the time. And Robbie Burns, my granny, when she came over from Dundee to follow her husband to the mines of Timmins, she brought her steamer trunks on the ship with her, and she had a couple of old postcards, some letters from family, some photos, and 4 volumes of Robbie Burns. And she knew she was never going back to Scotland, but those books of Robbie Burns have stayed in our family ever since. It's the sense with the Scottish of their identity, being exiled people, and the culture and the poems and the stories and the history is something we're all expected. And we were, as kids, taught these poems and taught our history because they said to us, you have to carry this on. So anyway, let's start with a fun one. Oh, my brown maiden, hurry, my brown maiden, oh, maiden, for she is the maid for me. Oh, Mary, mild-eyed Mary, by land or on the sea, though tide and time may vary, my heart beats true for thee. So, oh, my brown maiden, hurry, my brown maiden, oh, maiden, for she is the maid for me. From Glasgow or Dunedin, where maidens fair to see, will never a lowland maiden would lure mine eyes from thee. Oh, my brown maiden, hurry, my brown maiden, oh, maiden, for she is the maid for me. And when with blossom laden bright summer comes again, I'll fetch my brown maiden back to our Highland glen. So, oh, my brown maiden, hurry, my brown maiden, oh, maiden, for she is the maid for me. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to do one of Robbie Burns' most famous songs now. It's a song that my grandfather, my Cape Breton grandfather McNeil, taught us the words to. He said, you need to know this song. It's a story of who you are. And it is, Robbie Burns wrote it as Robert the Bruce's call to his troops before the famous Battle of Bannockburn, where they finally defeated the English. And in 1320, the Scottish released a statement, the Arbroath Declaration. 800 years ago, they said, as long as but 100 of us remain alive, never will we under any conditions be brought under English rules. It is, in truth, not glory, nor riches, nor honors that we are fighting, but for freedom, for that alone, which no honest man gives up, but with life itself. Scots wa hae. Scots wa hae, we Wallace bled, Scots when Bruce is often led, welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now's the day, now's the hour, you see see the front of battle hour, see approach proud Edward's power, chains and slavery. What will be a traitor's knave? What can fill a coward's grave? Was a base as be a slave? Well, let him turn and flee. What for Scotland's king in law? Freedom's sword will strongly draw. Free man stand or free man fall, let him follow me. By oppression's woes and chains, by our sons in servile chains, we will drain our dear ones' veins, but they shall be free. We'll lay the proud usurpers low, and tyrants fall, and every foe, liberty in every blow, let us do or die. Scots way we Wallace bled, Scots when Bruce is often led, welcome to your gory bed or to victory. Sing you a song now that Andy Stewart, the famous Scottish singer, wrote the words for. The pipe tune is called The Green Hills of Tyrol. And the melody actually comes from an opera. I think it was Rossini's opera. But the Scottish 93rd Argyll, Sutherland Highlanders heard a village band playing the melody in the Crimean War when they were fighting there. And you've heard of the charge of the Light Brigade, of course, where the Brits went in and got their asses handed to them. But you probably haven't heard about the 93rd Argyll Sutherlanders on that same day stopped the massive Russian cavalry charge. And after that heavy battle, they started to play what they called the Green Hills of Tyrol. And Andy Stewart's made it into the Scottish Soldier. And I just love the chorus. It really captures something about the spirit of place. There was a soldier, a Scottish soldier, who wandered far away and soldiered far away. There was none bolder, with good broad shoulders. He fought in many a fray and fought and won. He seen the glory, he told his story of battles glorious and deeds victorious. But now he's crying, his heart is dying, to leave these green hills of Tyrol. For these green hills, they're not Highland hills, nor these island hills, well, they're not my land's hills. And where is pleasing foreign hills may be, well, they are not the hills of home. He called his piper, his trusty piper, and bade him sound away a pibroch sad to play upon a hillside, a Scottish hillside, not on these green hills of Tyrol. For these green hills, they're not Highland hills, nor these island hills, well, they're not my land's hills. And whereas pleasing foreign hills may be, well, they are not the hills of home. Now this soldier, this Scottish soldier, will wander far no more, and soldier far no more. The bugles cease now, he is at peace now, upon those green hills of Tyrol. For these green hills, they're not Highland hills, nor these island hills, well, they're not my land's hills. And whereas pleasing foreign hills may be, well, they are not the hills of home. And and they are not the hills of home. Gonna do a song for you now that I first heard as a little boy on the first John Allen Cameron record. I think I got it around here someplace. And it's called The Four Marys, and the song is about the ladies in waiting to Mary Queen of Scots. And as Mary Queen of Scots was being sent by her cousin Elizabeth to be executed, Mary Queen of Scots said, "I die as a proud daughter of Scotland and a proud daughter of France." And that was the old alliance between the French and the Scottish. So the Four Marys were the Marys in waiting who came with her, the young French women. And this song is it's a lullaby. We used to sing it. My granny used to sing it to us all the time. Last night there were four Marys. Tonight there'll be but three. There was Mary Seaton and Mary Beaton and Mary Carmichael and me. How little did my mother know when first she cradled me, that I would die so far from home and hang on a gallows tree. They'll tie a napkin round my ain, and they'll no let me see today. Now never let on to my father or mother what's become of me. How little care I for a nameless grave if I hope for eternity. So I'll pray that the faith of the dynasty would be granted through grace unto me. Last night there were four Marys, tonight there'll be just three. It was Mary Seaton and Mary Beaton, and Mary Carmichael and me. How little care I for a nameless grave if I hope for eternity. So I'll pray that the faith of the dynasty will be granted through grace unto me. Last night there were four Marys, tonight there'll be but three. Mary Seaton and Mary Beaton, Mary Carmichael and me. There's only about 800 of those verses. I'm going to sing you, I think, one of the defining Robbie Burns songs. And my grandparents on both sides of the family, the Scottish Anguses who came over from the Hawkhill tenements in Dundee, they were very, very tough people. And my Cape Breton grandfather, Joe McNeil, who worked in the coal mines in New Waterford and then went to Timmins. Neither of those side of the families, they had much education. They went to work, but they were really learned people. They spoke very precisely. If you were going to have an opinion, you better know what you were talking about. That was the rule in the house. And you had to think, and you had to know your history. And out of that also came a view that definitely my Scottish Granny Angus really showed. If you knew what you were talking about and you were sure of yourself, you didn't have to get down and bend your knee to any man or to kiss any bishop's ring or any prince's ring. You were the equal of them. And that really, to me, is the spirit that Robbie Burns captured in this song, A Man's a Man for All That, from 1795. And I think the words mean as much today as they did when he wrote them. Is there for honest poverty that hangs his head and all that coward slave we pass him by. We dare be poor for all that, for all that, and all that, our toil obscure and all that. The rank is but the guinea stamp, the man's a god for all that. What though unhamely fare we dine, we clod in grey and that, gie fools their silks and knave their wine, a man's a man for all that, for all that, and that, their tinsel show and all that. The honest man nowhere so poor, is king of man for all that. You see yon barkie called a lord, who struts and stares and all that, though hundreds worship at his word, he's but a goof for all that, for all that, for all that, his ribbon star and all that. The man of independent mind, he looks and laughs at all that. Well, a prince can make a belted knight, a market duke and all that, but the honest man's aboon his might, good faith he man for all that, for all that, and all that, their dignities and all that, the pride of sense and pride of worth are higher ranks than all that. Then let us pray that come it may, as come it will for all that, that sense and worth o'er the earth shall bear the grief for all that, for all that, and all that, it's coming yet for all that, that man to man the world o'er shall brothers be for all that. Thank you, my friends. Stay safe, and we'll do this again in a big crowd with the whiskey and the haggis and lots of people once we're out of COVID. Thank you. Stay safe.